Hi everybody, welcome to day 12 of our Simply Autumn Art series. You can see what we're painting today, a slice of pumpkin pie. This was not on the agenda. In fact, day 12 almost didn't happen today, but a huge thanks to Patricia who sent me an email wondering where day 12 was, and I really was almost not going to do it. So thank you, Patricia, for being so encouraging. This may seem a little odd, but I'm starting with some yellow ochre, and I'm basically painting a rectangle with a little bit of a jagged edge on one side so that it's not a perfect rectangle. It's more like when you slice a piece of pie, kind of what happens at the edge there. So just kind of work with that as much or as little as you would like to. And now I've cleaned off my brush. I've just got water on there, and I'm just going to kind of pull some of that yellow ochre down because I don't want a ton of yellow ochre in my painting. And yeah, so I'm just kind of making it kind of be a nice light wash of yellow ochre in the center of our pumpkin pie. And now that that has a nice amount of water in there, I am bringing a little bit more yellow ochre, very little, and just spreading it out in that water. It's still going to be very light, as you can see. And yeah, I have to tell you, before Patricia emailed me, I had just told someone, I'm not doing my painting today. I'll do it tomorrow, which I would not be happy tomorrow if I didn't do this today. Now, I'm not sure if this next part is going to feel tricky, but I'm kind of imagining a triangle, but we're going to interrupt the triangle here in a second. So I'm just kind of on an angle there, going to draw just that one side of the triangle. And then I am going to bring in my pencil, just a regular old pencil, and I'm going to draw in our little dollop of whipped cream because with watercolors, they're transparent, translucent, whatever, and you can't paint white over the yellow or the other colors we're going to be using here. So I'm going to leave that little dollop of whipped cream, just leave it alone, and I'm going to draw my triangle kind of around it. I think you can see what I'm doing there. So really we have a rectangle and we have a triangle right now and a little dollop. The dollop is not, you can see I just kind of wiggled some lines in there. And now I'm just going to fill in the top of our pie with the yellow ochre. I can never remember that color. I don't know why. So back to why I didn't want to paint tonight. It's because today has been a little bit of a series of crazy little events, and that's okay. I was a little terrified to paint this because I have never really painted pumpkin pie until about 5 minutes before I did this one to just practice it real quick. And I'll show you the one I did for practice at the end as well. But the other thing is I was running out of daylight like really fast, and that's how I paint. So this time of year it always gets a little trickier because I don't have as many light hours of the day, but that's okay. All right, I have switched to some burnt sienna on my brush. So I'm just mixing that in. Everything is still wet. I'm doing a lot of wet on wet in this painting. I do a little bit of wet on dry, but I'll be sure to tell you when I do that. But I'm just kind of carefully adding my color in because I'm not familiar with painting pumpkin pie. And so I'm just being careful with it and just adding it little by little because I was like, I don't know how orange I want it. I don't know. I really don't know anything. I am winging it, as they say. And yeah, going around our little dollop of whipped cream. Yeah, don't worry if yours doesn't look like mine. And please, you might not want it to look like mine. No offense taken. But now I've got some burnt umber on my brush, and I am painting in some darker spots. This is what a pie would look like if I baked it. Little burnt spots here and there. But I am going to be drawing in the crust here in a little bit, but we want just some color variations because really that's what pie looks like, even if a pro bakes it. There's just a lot of different colors, and really we're just using 3 colors for the pie itself today. We're doing yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and burnt umber, but really you can use any yellow, orange, and brown that you have. And now I'm just kind of doing a little wavy crust here. I'll be tweaking this just a couple times. I'm really trying not to be like too fussy about it because again, I'm running out of daylight. I know that looks weird right now, but just bear with me here. I'm kind of leaving a little bit of a white space, as you can see, between that crust and the pie. And now I am cleaning off my brush and just bringing in a little bit of water here to bring some of that brown and let it meet up with our slice of pie there. Honestly, with the string of events today and the fact that I'm working under pressure with daylight going away quickly, I'm pretty happy with how this little thing turned out. And hilariously, as I'm doing my voiceover now, my husband is mowing the lawn right outside my window. But you know what? That is not throwing shade at him because guess what? He's had a very long day as well and is running out of daylight. So we're both just trying to get our stuff done, you know? Okay, coming back in with our burnt sienna, you can see I went with our burnt umber. Sorry, I'm babbling too much. I'm not telling you what I'm doing, but really, I'm taking the burnt umber and the burnt sienna and just moving it around in our slice of pie. And just a reminder, I haven't let anything dry yet. The yellow ochre is still wet. The burnt sienna, the burnt umber, they're all wet, and I'm just trying to blend them all together nicely. And up in this area that I'm working on here, I've got a little bit too much water, so I just cleaned my brush off and I tapped it on my paper towel so then I can use my brush kind of like a sponge to just mop up a little bit of that water. And again, just tweaking the little crust a little bit till it looks the way I think it should look. It's been a long time since I've had a piece of pie, but yeah, we can all kind of imagine what a piece of pie looks like, right? Coming back in with my burnt umber and just again adding more variation of these colors slowly, kind of little by little, because again, I'm just experimenting here and I want it to look nice and smooth. And so I'm just doing them little by little and tapping it in here. I'm soaking up some more water here that kind of pooled up there a little bit. And now bringing in some more of our burnt umber. And those of you who bake pies, specifically pumpkin pies, you can tell me if I got this all wrong. It's okay. I am just okay with that, you know? I am not looking at a reference photo. I have not had pumpkin pie since I have no idea when. And yeah, I'm just going with what's in my mind right now, which again makes me even more happy with how it turns out because there was really no telling how this was going to go. And now just more baby steps. I've got burnt sienna on my brush again, just adding those colors in slowly. You know, every single one of our paintings is going to look different from the other person's. So just have fun with this and tweak it until this looks like a delicious piece of pie to you. I feel like this could be another one, just like when we did our apple pie, where this could make a really sweet gift if you, for instance, did a recipe card for somebody. Let's say you are a really good baker of pumpkin pie. And you could write this recipe for your daughter or granddaughter or friend or whatever, and just illustrate it too. I just think that would be pretty sweet. Okay, coming in with my burnt umber, and I am just drawing in some lines to define that rectangular shape from our triangular shape, and tweaking the crust a bit again. And now I'm going to let this all dry. I'm going to help it dry actually. And you can see it dried a lot lighter. If you like it, you can leave it. I am going to add a little bit more myself, but for now, since everything is dry, I'm coming in with just Payne's Gray on my brush just to kind of dab in some color on our whipped cream. So I'm on that whole left side, I am kind of outlining it with that, and then I'm just kind of doing some little lines in between to make it look like, you know, a proper dollop. I don't know why I said it like that, and I'm sorry. Okay, just kind of outlining it again to try to make it look like some whipped cream. I don't know. I told you, it's been a weird day and my brain is not working very well, but that's okay. And everything is dry there. I am coming in with burnt sienna just to give it a nice wash. This is a pretty watered down burnt sienna because I just want to go over everything in the slice of the pie itself and just make it a little richer looking. You can see that still some of the yellow kind of shows through, and also obviously the dark brown, our burnt umber, is still showing through just fine, but it just kind of gives it that nice color. And then under our whipped cream and kind of over on the left side of it, I'm just going to kind of darken it up a little bit. Not that there would be a giant shadow, but I think it adds some nice dimension here. And now I'm going to clean my brush off and add a little bit more of the burnt umber because I want some more definition on the crust here. And so I'm just kind of going around the outer edge, as you can see, and on the back side and on the bottom. A lot of what I do is optional. Sometimes I just keep playing and playing, which this could have been done after we let it dry the first time if you wanted it to be. And here I have just got water on my brush and I'm just kind of blending everything in and letting it touch up into some of the paint, just kind of softening some lines up. And now I'm going to add some more burnt umber to add a little bit more curvy line on our crust there. Again, just keep playing until you like the result. For a little shadow under our slice of pumpkin pie, I have got a very light wash of burnt umber. It almost looks yellow, but I promise it's just a very light diluted burnt umber. And just playing with the shape of that shadow just a little bit. All right, I told you I would show you my practice pumpkin pie that I did like 5 minutes before this one to see if I could actually do it. And this is it. You can see the splatter. I didn't really like the splatter, although now that I look at it, playing this back, I kind of do like it, but I didn't like it after I did it. So I am leaving this background just as it is, but I am bringing in my Micron size 5 in the color of brown, and I'm just going to outline the whole slice of pie. If you're new to watercolor, this is called line and wash when you add these pen details at the end of your painting. Always optional, but I almost always do it because to me, it just finishes it off very nicely. I'm just doing a nice light outline. A lot of times I'm really extra scribbly with my pen details, but I'm being pretty close to the shape of our pie here. I don't know. I think maybe it's just a day in a mood, as they say. And sometimes I want extra scribbly lines and sometimes I don't. There we go. That was bothering me up there. That makes me feel better. All right, just keep tweaking it, you guys. I'm tired and I just kept playing, I guess. And I'm not feeling very creative with my words today either, so apologies if this is, kind of boring. But under my whipped cream there, I am just adding again some more dimension with the pen detail. And I like it. I always kind of debate whether or not to add a little pen in the shadow, but I think it adds a nice little touch, don't you? And that is it for day 12, my friends. I hope you'll join me on Monday for day 13, which is our final painting of our September series. Hope to see you then.